Hi, my name is Zoe, and this is my dog Miso. A year ago, I decided to move to the countryside of Japan to pursue my dream of becoming a full-time artist. Here are snippets of my day-to-day life. I hope you enjoy.
待って。いや。行くよ。おいで。おいでよ。もう行くよ。おいで。あっちは行かんよ。おいでよ。おいで。Good girl.
My first task for today is to prepare the things to weave into this loom. So originally I thought I would go to the shop and buy something, but I actually try to avoid that as much as possible just because it is so far away, and obviously if I can just recycle or reuse something, it's better as well. So I have decided that I am going to dye the fabric scraps I have into the colour I need because I have all of those things available to me, so why not? Let's move into the studio now. So here's my room that I beautifully cleaned yesterday, and all of my little fabric scraps and offcuts. I'm just going to pull out some of the fabric scraps now to figure out which ones I want to use. And my lovely filing system, this one seems to be all cotton pieces, and this one is all linen. I need orange, red and purple, so I will mainly be looking for white pieces. So I think this bag is going to be a no. Perfect. This is what I'm looking for. All these little tiny pieces that have no life left in them. I am going to bring them back to life.
You want me to play with you, don't you? Sorry, but I'm working now. I'm just mixing up the color red and my beautiful little test piece on the fabric. Anyway, hopefully it works out because I'm gonna use it anyway. This is color number 1 complete now. Just gonna let that cure for like 2 days and then hopefully wash it out, should be good. Just finished mixing the purple color. It's a bit hard to see, but it's kind of like so. It originally was this really dark, cool kind of color, but I think I want it just to have a little bit more red in it, so I just changed it up a bit, but maybe I will put a little bit more black in it again too. I decided to add a bit more black into the color. So now we're sitting at something like that, roughly. Here we have all of the colors complete. So I have my red, orange, the Bordeaux kind of wine color, and then like a deep purple. It's really hard to tell the colors at the moment because they are wet and the color always goes super dark, but I will come back in 2 days when these are ready to wash, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Miso is having a little nap in the sun. She loves this little mini trampoline. It's pretty much turned into her day bed, so we just leave it out in the sun now.
I've just finished dyeing all of the little fabric scraps and fabric waste for the Sakiori pocket. Now I am just having a little bit of a break because we have decided to go get udon for lunch. So yeah, we're gonna come down the mountain and then go have some udon.
みそも一緒に行きたいの？行きたいね。じゃあ一緒に行こうか。一緒に行こうよ。行こうか。じゃあ
today is also the first day of our annual mochi throwing event. We usually have about 4 or 5 and get an entire year's worth of mochi, so let's check it out. Here's the mochi that I just got from the mochi nage event. We usually have about 4 or 5 of them at the end of each year. The people around here really get into it and love it. So it was actually up until about 2 weeks ago that I finally finished eating the ones from last year. If you freeze them, they do tend to last the entire year. So yeah, you get like a whole year's worth that you can eat. Apparently the ones this year are from an even nicer place and they actually feel a lot softer than the ones that we had last year. They're still super fresh, so I'm gonna try it without anything on it and see what it tastes like. Definitely tastes better than the one that I had last year plain, but it's kind of just like eating plain rice. Super delicious, but if I put some soy sauce and sugar on this, it's gonna be like... So I'm gonna go and do that now. A little bit of sugar. Beautiful. No weird stuff in this soy sauce. I'm actually gonna cut this. So you guys can see, so stretchy. What? So stretchy that it just knocked the entire camera over. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a dippy dip now. That's really good. Don't know what it is about today, but I just was one of those days where I woke up and I felt tired even though I woke up. And yeah, I had a bunch of things to do, so I didn't get home until about 1, but as soon as I got home, I've just been having a nap here with little Miso. And yeah, it's about 2:30 now, so finally I have a bit of energy and motivation to go and complete some other tasks. I think for today I'm just gonna keep it chill and easy as I've got another 2 pretty full-on days coming up, so I might just sew all the little preparations together for the pants and then yeah, leave it at that for today. 何もしたくないね。恥ずかしくなったね。恥ずかしいガールだね。かわいいのに。First, let's go and get a little beverage from the vending machine. The only thing I really care about in this vending machine. Good stuff. I'm just threading up my bobbins, and I actually made this into a necklace because I have a really bad habit of losing them, and they're like in my jacket pocket or something, so yeah. For this project I have prepared 3 bobbins because it is my absolute worst favourite thing in this world when I am sewing the final part of the waistband and the bobbin runs out and then I have to cut the thread and just ugh. So now I just always prepare a minimum of 3 bobbins. It seems to be the magic number. So I've got my 3 bobbins. I also have my elastic, my cut work. I'm just gonna chuck these in the drawer so they don't get lost. My favourite little snip necklace and some pins. And then most importantly, I have my little fabric scrap here that is the exact same fabric as I'm sewing, and I'm just going to sew along here to check the tension of the machine and make sure that all the settings are right. The way that I check my tension is that first I just sew along a straight line, no back tack or anything, and then pretty much number 1 is just looking to see if the stitches look funny at all. They look pretty nice and flat, and they're sitting along in the fabric very nicely. They also feel nice and flat, like they're not sticking out weirdly. So yeah, that is kind of like how you check your tension. I'm pretty happy. Most of the fabric, like if you're doing dressmaking, unless of course you're using like shears or very heavyweight denims, generally around the same thickness, so you probably don't have to fiddle around with it too much. But yeah, this is just number 1 thing we get taught in college, is to check the tension before we start the project. Another little trick I like to do is get this kind of super colourful tape, and then I'm just gonna put it on the wrong side of all the fabric pieces. My plan for today is basically I'm going to sew the inseam pockets on so they are ready to roll, and then kind of like prepare the waistband so that's ready to go on, and I'm actually going to bind the edge of this to give it a super professional finish. So I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. These are my most favourite jeans in the world, probably even pair of pants in the world. They are a MM6 pair, and what I mean is that you can see on this waistband how the pants have this binding. It just gives it a super high quality luxurious finish, super neat edge, and then it also makes it easier to sew the waistband because you don't have to worry about like tucking it up and matching it. You can just sew all around the edge with it flat, which is going to make it way easier. So I really like this idea of doing the waistbands like this, and I actually have a binding foot and everything, so it is super easy. This is pretty much what I've done so far. I've just sewn the crotch together, and then I've just, because these are going to be inseam pockets, I've just kind of back tacked the pockets on. This is like the super easy, foolproof way of doing inseam pockets, which I really love. So yeah, I'm just going to bind the waistband so I can finish sewing that together. It took me a hot minute, but here is the binding foot, and I finally figured out how to make it work. So yeah, you just basically get it going. And feed your own sewing into it as you go. It's quite easy if you have the binding tape pre-made. I bought this binding tape probably 4 years ago, but never got around to using it, unfortunately. So finally, I am using this.
this. And you might be wondering why I'm doing this in a white bind when the fabric is quite clearly black, but I am just thinking about how it's going to age. It ends up turning that super, super lovely, warm, browny grey colour. And in fact, the white will suit it better than a heavy black. So I'm just keeping that in mind as I do this. It's actually so nice when this turns out nice and smooth. Like, honestly, the best thing in the world. When you have to make the strips yourself, it's not quite this smooth and lovely, but I still do love using a binding foot. If I could have a machine where it is just constantly set up, I would use it all the time, but because it does take a little bit to switch it and move back and forth, you kind of have to plan out when you're going to use it and when you are not going to use it. So anyway, this is just me showing the binding foot and how it works. This is how it ends up looking. Super clean, beautiful edge, which is exactly what I wanted. This is Miso's absolute favourite game in the world. She doesn't like getting caught though. This is one way I can cheat and win. Yeah, let's go.はい。ちょっと仕事中なので、後で遊ぶね。後で遊ぶね。ごめんね。I ended up doing exactly like I said I would, which was to sew the pockets onto the pants, bind the waistband, and yeah, prep up to there. Not to worry anyway, that means that all of the annoying little fiddly bits and pieces are out the way, and yeah, tomorrow morning I can pretty much just wake up and finish sewing these, and I should have them done before lunch, so yay!